Would you like to know how to take one turkey and turn it into 9 family-sized meals? Stick around. I'm about to show you how. It's Freezer Frenzy time! Did you know that March is National Frozen Foods Month, or Frozen Meals Month, or something like that? Ashley over there at C&C Farms can tell you what it is. She's hosting this fantastic collaboration about frozen meals, so you can have freezer meals ready whenever you need them. Now, I have a kind of important reason why I'm wanting to do this. One, it's springtime. It's busy time for us farmers. We're in the field. We're starting to get the seeds in. Those gardeners, we're out there. We're planting those seeds. Us herdsmen are having babies born on the farm. And it's just a busy, fun, exciting time of life. But it's also hopefully gonna be when my grandbaby is born. So my goal is that I want to make a bunch of meals for me and a bunch of meals for my daughter for when she has her baby. She can have some of those home-cooked meals from mama when I can't be there. So I've got my daughter here, Nikki, and she wanted to help me make some meals for her sister too. So we're going to be working here in the kitchen, and we're so excited to get to make some ready meals for someone very special in our life. We want to ask you to join us and invite you to come along. First thing you have to do when you have a massive freezer frenzy day, you have to be prepared. So we went to the grocery store and we got some things after, of course, shopping my pantry for the most part. And what you have to do is pick out your recipes. I have taken an entire turkey and I've cooked it up and I've portioned it out. Because I found 3 chicken recipes that I'm going to be making today, and we're going to double those, probably getting 3 pans of each. What I'm going to do is I've got a station over here. I had to move off my workhorses here for today, and I want to set up our stations for our food. So we're going to set up 3 stations for our 3 different recipes that we're going to make. You want to, you could maybe help me out by reading what I need to put in each station. I went to Sam's Club and I got these pans. I don't think they're not a 9 by 13, maybe an 8 by 9. I don't know that it even says what they are, but I've got these work perfect for when I do freezer meals. And you can also buy these lids so that you don't have to do the aluminum foil. More convenient for me. At Dollar Tree, and I get these. They're the jumbo size bags. So, everything's just about ready, and we're gonna go ahead and next prep anything that needs sliced, diced, cut, whatever. So I'm gonna pull you around in a different angle and we'll get to more prep work. So any of the fresh ingredients that we're going to be using today, we're going to head and scrub them up real good and wash them with nice cold water so they stay good and fresh. We also have some freeze-dried onions that I'm going to open for you, and we're got to get to these peppers because they got a little bit too far gone. They're a little freezer burnt, but I think in a casserole type thing, they're going to be just fine. So while she's over at the sink getting the celery prepped, I'm going to go ahead and start working on these ingredients. And these are some freeze-dried onions that I did. And I was a little concerned they might stick together like this because as a newbie, I didn't understand, but that's okay. They will reconstitute and be just fine. They just need a second because instead of using a moisture, I used a oxygen absorber. Like I said, normally your freeze-dried onions don't do this. This was beginner error here. And because we have onions already in the pot pie, I am not going to put any in there. So I decided to sprinkle on just a little bit of water to kind of rehydrate these onions. And boy, oh boy, can you smell them now. I'm going to put the rest of these onions in a jar to cook with right away. And Nikki's going to get some water to boiling over there for us. So now I'm going to get these peppers dealt with. I think I'm going to give them a quick rinse. Now the one recipe I think called for 2 large bells, so she's going to fill one full, and then the rest of the other one only called for 2/3, so it'll be 1 1/3 cup. So it only has to be half full. But we're going to use all these up because we just need to get these out of the freezer. I like to cut my peppers in strips like this for the freezer. So if you want, you can use them for fajitas. I like to put them on top of my meatloaf. And then you quickly can dice them to cubes if you want. Now they're a little harder to cut after I rinse them, but you know, around here you gotta use what we got. While Nikki is over at the workstation cutting up the peppers, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this celery. I think that we want a fairly thin slice. So I'm gonna use this tool here. Save those scraps. They make excellent broth. Or treats for the chickens. Let's see. That's a little too thin. Let's go up a notch. There we go. That's more like what I want. But if you want to cube it, or slice it and chunk it, however you want, that's okay too. Lickety split, it's getting that celery done for us. A little tip for you is that I like to cut the top off and use the bottom as a handle. It makes it just a bit easier to be able to control the celery when you slice it. Another little tip I've got for you is that it's important to keep your kitchen clean while you keep working. So rinse off as soon as you are done with that item, and it'll make life easier because by the time you're done with today, you're going to be exhausted. Okay, so now we have our 3 stations with our food that is prepped and ready to go, our pasta that is boiling. I have the pots here because once we get that cooked, we'll have something to put it in while we get the rest of it all ready. Cooked probably al dente, and I want to go ahead and stop that process. So I'm going to take cold water and rinse it, and that will kind of slow down the process. I'm going to go ahead and toss in just a little more of that olive oil to just kind of keep this from sticking, and this is going to be ready for us when we are. A little time-saving trick for you is to go ahead and have all your jars and cans open. I have found so many times that a double recipe will actually go into 3 pans. They're so nice to have disposable pans if you know you want to share this with someone else so they don't have to return your pan, because when, you know, there's a funeral or something, a loss of a loved one, the last thing you want to do is try to remember whose pan goes where. And it's okay to have them in the freezer for yourself that way too. So here they are, ready to go, either in the oven or in the freezer. We need to take the lids, label on top, but we're gonna let it cool for a bit before we do that. She put what it was, the date, make sure to thaw it, a reminder, and then how to bake it. So it's ready to go. It's very important to label it when you're making lots of different things. Thing I like to do to kind of keep a little more freezer burn away from my meals, especially if I don't know if they're going to get eaten right away, is to take some of these 2.5 gallon bags and put my dishes in them. And just keeps it a little more fresh. Another little tip about these bags is if you're doing this freezer meal at somewhere other than your own house and you make, say, soups and some of the more sloppy things, this will help to not have a mess all over your car too. The biggest thing about when you take on a day like this is to make sure that you are ready and prepared and you have everything at your hands. But actually, the best thing is to grab a partner and have some help because it goes along so much faster and it sure is a lot more fun. Thanks again, Ashley at C&C Farm, for inviting me to be a part of your freezer meal collaboration. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a month long full of some great recipes. I hope that you guys go see all the other channels and everyone else that participated. Go to Ashley at C&C Farm, check out the playlist, and see what all's there. It was a long day. It's dark outside, but we got it done. Freezer meal frenzy is over. Yeah. So glad you guys came along. I hope you learned a few tricks along the way. We'll see you next time. Bye, friends. Bye. If you would like to actually see each of these 3 recipes being made, I invite you to go ahead and ring that notification bell because next month I'm going to be showing you in detail each one of these recipes.